So thirsty. Disgusting. But is what you're drinking any better? In this video, you're about to find out how much sugar is in all these drinks, the maximum amount of sugar you should have a day if you want to avoid health problems, how to reduce your consumption of added sugar, and why a carton of orange juice is just as bad for you as Fanta or Dr. Pepper. But first, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and turn on notifications because I got a new crushing video on proper nutrition for you guys every single week. And now, time for the sugar comparison. So let's start with Dr. Pepper. Let's take a look at this nutrition facts label here on the back of the can. So as we can see here, there are 39 grams of sugar total in the small can. And on the right, that tells us that it's 78% of the daily value. So what exactly are these daily values and what are they based on? The daily values are based on a 2,000 calorie diet proposed by the US Food and Drug Administration in the 1990s when they mandated standardized food labeling. So based on these FDA recommendations, the maximum amount of sugar you should be consuming daily is 50 grams. But a lot of reputable sources now in the modern day believe that even that number may be too lenient. For example, the American Heart Association recommends that men should consume no more than 36 grams of added sugar per day, whereas women should consume no more than 25 grams of added sugar per day, which is half of the daily value. Likewise, the Health Direct Australia recommends that you reduce your total daily sugar intake to be less than 10% of your total daily energy intake, which ends up being about 50 grams, or in other words, 100% of the daily value. But they also note that ideally, your total daily sugar intake should be less than 5% of your total daily energy intake, which is 25 grams of sugar. So basically, guys, to sum it up, by the most lenient standards we have available, one small can of Dr. Pepper contains 78% of the maximum amount of sugar you should be intaking daily. But if you actually care about your health, in reality, it's way over 100%. So now let's take a look at what the 39 grams found in Dr. Pepper actually looks like. Let's take my little kitchen teaspoon right here and see how much sugar that is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 teaspoons of sugar. All right, so now let's take a look at Fanta. So as you can see, it's pretty much the same thing here. Even the font's the same. Sugar's about the same, but it's actually 1 gram more than Dr. Pepper, which is, if you're being nice, 81% of the total daily amount, although if you care about your health, it's well over 100. Just like Dr. Pepper. You can see this is a repeating pattern with these sodas already. Approximately this amount of sugar, maybe even more, every time you take a drink of one of these little cans. Just imagine how much you're drinking when you're at McDonald's getting an extra large. And by the way, these drinks not only contain sugar, but they contain a special form of sugar called high fructose corn syrup, which is even worse for your health. And speaking of high fructose corn syrup, these A&W drinks right here contain a lot of it. So let's take a look at this root beer right here. Sadly, root beer is one of the drinks I love the most, but unfortunately, it most definitely does not love me back. So as we can see here, it contains a whopping 43 grams of sugar, and if you look at the ingredients, all of that appears to be coming from high fructose corn syrup. And in comparison, the A&W cream soda has 46 grams of sugar, guys. That is ridiculous. And yes, all of it is from high fructose corn syrup, as well as some preservatives thrown in for some extra love there. So let's talk about high fructose corn syrup. Fructose is a natural sugar found in fruits, vegetables, honey, sugarcane, and sugar beets. It's about 1.5 times sweeter than regular table sugar. When we consume fructose in whole foods like fruits and vegetables, it does not have a negative effect on our health. But consuming high amounts of fructose, especially high fructose corn syrup, can lead to health problems. Some of these include fatty liver, which is disgusting, high triglycerides, insulin resistance, high blood sugar, and an increased risk of type 2 diabetes. So basically, guys, this is absolute garbage. If you really want to drink something like this and jeopardize your health in the process, I would highly recommend try not to do it more than once a month. Speaking about juices now, There's a ton of different juices in grocery stores. Why can't I just buy a few cartons of orange juice, you may ask? Well, orange juice is often seen as a healthier alternative to sodas like Fanta, Dr. Pepper, or Coke. But it's important to note that just like these sodas, orange juice contains a very high amount of sugar. In fact, a glass of orange juice contains about 24 grams of sugar, which, as you now know, is basically a full daily dose of sugar. And of course, this high sugar content can have the exact same negative effect on your health as sodas do. Both fruit juices and sodas have similar amounts of sugar and calories. So sadly, there's no point to switch from sodas to that healthy orange juice you might see in your grocery store. Yes, orange juice does provide important nutrients for sure, but at the same time, the high sugar content can make you gain weight and increase your risk of various diseases. So if you want to be leaner, feel better, and decrease your risk of health problems, unfortunately, you're gonna have to cut back on both sodas and fruit juices. But what can you replace them with? So, get a blender, you can experiment with this every day, mix it up the way you like, look for recipes online, and it's gonna be much healthier for you as long as you don't add extra sugar. Oh, by the way guys, if you wanna know how many teaspoons of sugar you're consuming, here's a quick tip to help you calculate. Just take the grams of sugar on whatever it is you're consuming and divide it by 4. So, for example, on this root beer right here, it has 43 grams of sugar. Divided by 4, that's approximately 11. So that's 11 of these bad boys every time you pop a root beer. So basically, if you want something sweet and tasty, go eat some fruits, or squeeze the fresh juice out of the fruits you like and drink this instead without it adding any extra sugar.